All right, so the New York primaries are today, and I have to ask the question, Lewis. Um, does New York really love Donald Trump, or do they just really hate Ted Cruz? I Before I say anything else, what do you think it is?
Well, my guess would be that there's some love for Trump in New York because I found this picture of Trump Tower. Trump has a presence,
Yeah.
maybe not a physical presence himself
Hmm.
in New York. I don't know how much time he spends there, but his name is there. And does it have an impact? Maybe.
Well, I mean, you would think it would have a negative impact on the people that he actually tried to force out of their rent-controlled housing. You would think it'd have a negative impact because of the discrimination, the housing discrimination suits that were against them. You would think that, but if you look at the polling coming out of New York, Trump is thrashing everyone, especially Ted Cruz, who's coming in third place. There is a spread of 30 points. Mind you, he is the real clear average spread is 30 points. He's not winning. He doesn't poll at 30%. He's beating John Kasich by 30 points, which means he's beating Ted Cruz even more. Now, Lewis, I know he's popular. I know he has the signs all over New York, but a guy like Trump just cannot be that loved. I honestly think it's just repulsion to Ted Cruz. There's a New York Times piece yesterday. There was a write up on him that really outlined how Ted Cruz is the quintessential conservative. They said that he's further right than Barry Goldwater, if you can imagine that. This is a guy who his Princeton law professor said that he is consistently the same. The person he is today, the conservative that he is today, is the conservative that he was years ago. And I think people see that and realize how dangerous that type of ideology could be if it ever got to the White House. And I think the Republicans in New York are pushing back against the RNC. The RNC is hedging with Ted Cruz. The RNC on a national level, they're actually moving closer to Ted Cruz because they feel like that's their only hope. He was a pariah in the party, but now he's looked at as the savior in the party. And New York Republicans are absolutely saying, hell no, we don't want Ted Cruz. We want Donald Trump by 30 points.
It's a kind of a shocking number. I can understand that. I mean, when someone says to me that Ted Cruz is the quintessential Republican politician and candidate, I say that really does not speak well for the Republican Party. But maybe they see through his sliminess and his lies and
Yeah.
all of that. Not that Trump isn't lying. I mean, Trump's telling plenty of lies. But I mean, they couldn't be more different, right?
They absolutely couldn't. And this is like evident in Ted Cruz's imbecilic play on New York, saying New York values as a deriding kind of thing, as a derogatory kind of thing. So, Lewis, I want to put you on the spot. You absolutely feel free not to answer this, right? It might be best that you don't answer this. But I played this game, this mind game on myself, this thought experiment. Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, and Hillary Clinton versus Ted Cruz. You know, what do you do? What would you do if you want to answer in one of those scenarios?
Okay. So the logical side of me says that you have to just vote and hope Hillary Clinton wins in both of those cases. Let's not count out her qualifications. They're impressive. She knows the system. She knows all about all of this. Then there's a part of me. Ted Cruz is out. Forget about Ted Cruz. There's no way. There's a part of me that just wants to see what would happen
Yeah.
if Donald Trump were the president. I mean, it would be such a fascinating time.
Yeah.
And in many ways, this is sad but true. On many topics, he's more progressive than Hillary Clinton.
That's the amazing thing to me. And since I asked you that, I'll go ahead and answer the same question, right? It's only fair for me to answer it. So if it's Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, everybody wants to make me afraid of Donald Trump because they think he is the quintessential racist. I'm not afraid of racism. It's part of everyday life, whatever. I'm not afraid of that. You actually said something really interesting there, is that on some issues, particularly foreign affairs, he is much more progressive than Hillary Clinton. I was talking with Rania Kalik last week, and she said that, you know, if you look at Hillary Clinton, she has the capacity and the wherewithal to actually bomb Muslims. Donald Trump wants to ban Muslims, and he doesn't even have the capacity or the wherewithal to actually implement a ban on Muslims. So you're looking at someone who threatens to ban, but won't really be able to, versus someone who has the capacity to bomb Muslims. So, it's really kind of sketchy. I don't know what would actually happen. But the only reason I brought it up is because I try to let my audience know on a regular basis, if Ted Cruz was the Republican nominee, as much as I'm in for Bernie Sanders, I would find a Hillary Clinton for America t-shirt, and you guys can hate me for the rest of my life. But Ted Cruz is one person who should never get near the White House.
Yes, all of those crazy religious bills that end up on his desk, assuming Republicans have control, they will not get vetoed. They will be signed into law.
Yes.
There could be two, maybe even three Supreme Court appointments.
Yeah.
In that term, or maybe 2 terms, almost certainly. It's terrifying. Can't let that happen.
I'm sorry. People think Hillary Clinton is the devil. They think she's evil. And I want you to feel free to think whatever you want. But the Boston Globe last week hit this on the head. It said a Donald Trump presidency would be a disaster, but a Ted Cruz presidency would be apocalyptic.